Another episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club, my ongoing video series where every other Monday I put up a new episode taking a look at something from the world of anime that I want to talk to you about. Sometimes it's a deep dive into a subgenre, and sometimes, like right now, it's recorded live on my live streams on Twitch, where I talk about a bunch of anime. This is my fall 2024/winter 2025 review and preview, respectively. So we're going to go through all of the shows that I watched and maybe some reasons why I didn't watch some shows. Those reasons could be anything from it didn't get a proper release all the way to I didn't want to. So we'll go through that there. I will be referencing folks watching here on YouTube. I'll be referencing chat a little bit because we are streaming this, so people may have some thoughts and opinions as we go through it. We're going to start with a banger. Right off the bat, let's start with 365 Days to the Wedding, one of my favorite shows of 2024. One of my best of the season, made my top 10 list. It's just a fun romantic comedy show. Easy premise. Two single employees work at a travel agency. The travel agency is opening up a new branch in Alaska. So they're going to send single people to go work there and not the married people, the people that have ties to something in Japan. And so our two folks who have never met each other at work, who are single and loving it, don't want to get married, meet each other, and one of them jokingly kind of says like, well, we could like pretend to be married or that we're getting married, and then we just have to keep up a lie for a year. We'll just be engaged for a year. And they go for it. And hey, guess what? Maybe single life isn't all it's cracked up to be, and maybe they're falling for each other. You've got a phenomenal supporting cast for this one. There's other romance going on. There is some otaku stuff going on in the background with some of the characters, which is like not for laughs. It's just character traits. And one of the best parts of it is just that both of them are full of insecurities that hinder them, and so it feels very natural. There's not like slapstick nonsense, which I love, don't get me wrong, but in this case, it's just very natural. Because like it's one of those things where you're like, fall in love. I want you to fall in love. Yes, this would work. You try. So you're rooting for him the whole time, but it doesn't get like aggravating, the fact that because it's so honest and straightforward and like why this might not work out, why they might not want to pursue this, why they might want to give up this lie that they are, facilitating here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's for everybody, but for me, this was very soothing and great and fun. It's a phenomenal romantic comedy. 365 Days to the Wedding. First on my list here, and really, really good. Five Okune Button Part 2 did not have a US release. I can't tell you if Part 1 got a US release. I know it came out in 2022. This is the follow-up. That was just on YouTube, so I don't think it got a US release. And that one was fully CGI, and I think this one is a different one. But basically, it's episodes 13 and 14 of a show I didn't watch. And this is the most information I have for you, so I don't know anything else about 5 Okonen Button Part 2. Other than it's categorized psychological, and Annie Chart, which is from Annie List, this is the chart version of Annie List, they're paired, are pretty good with there are a couple instances, we'll actually talk about one, where they're like, no, you're wrong about that you shouldn't categorize that as that. But yeah, it seems like this is like a weird, trippy show. So I don't know. A Terrified Teacher at Ghoul School was out this season. It's 2-core, back-to-back 2-core. Thank you, Jam. Appreciate that. Happy New Year. Thank you very much for subscribing for 82 months. I'm not going to do sound effects at this point because we are in a recording, but thank you all the same, of course. Terrified Teacher at Ghoul School. I didn't watch this one. I have read some of the manga and bounced right off of it. Look, I like a fish out of water story. I like a story about a teacher trying to get through to people and then just having a hard time, and in this case, an even harder time because of the fact that they're a ghoul school. But the comedy kind of like so. How do I put this? I'm a bit of a comedy snob, which is a fault of mine. I'm telling you that there is a fault in me where it either needs to be really weird or really sharp. But if it's just like silly, I kind of want more from it. And this was just like kind of wacky and kind of silly. And I think clips are the best way to enjoy that personally. So it's a 2-core. We'll talk about it again because it's ongoing. But yeah, it's just like, I'm all right. Ari Fueta from Commonplace to World's Strongest Season 3. This show started a little late this season, and it's also 16 episodes, so it's still kind of ongoing, but it's considered fall 2024 season. It's an isekai. Look, I am not telling you that you should start with season 1 of this show and get caught up. This is trash, but trash doesn't have to be bad. Sometimes trash can be good. Like, it's not a dumpster fire, but it isn't a trash can, if that makes any sense to you. The thing is that our main character here had a lot of trouble. He got summoned with his class. He had shitty powers. He already was bullied and they didn't like him. He got left for dead and had to fight really hard to survive. And he's an edgelord because of that. But as the show progresses, and we're in season 3 now, he's still acting like an edgelord, but it falls flat because, 1, he still does the right thing, and 2, he's got himself a harem of people that really like him. So, like, the action is really good. There's season 2 and season 3 added a bunch of CGI that looks awful. Season 1 had a little bit of CGI, but it seemed like it had more budget. So they didn't use as much CGI monsters and CGI weapons. There's still some magic effects that are definitely CGI and look out of place, but it's gotten worse as it's gone on. It's a guilty pleasure show, and like, again, you might have a ton of stuff this season that you missed out on that I would recommend before I would recommend this, but some assholes get killed in really fun ways. If you want to see a show where some bunny people murder a bunch of soldiers who thought that they were going to roll over those bunny people, like, this is the show for you. Yeah, it's not great. It was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, sometimes there is trash out there, and you're just like, yeah, but it's good, so I'm going to go for it. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. Season 2. I am so surprised this show had a season 2 so soon after season 1. There is nothing special about this isekai. The idea that the only skill I have is appraisal is kind of interesting, but I've read a lot of manga where that's the case. Oh, I only have appraisal skill, so I can't do anything myself except find hidden talent in people and be like, actually, you should be an archer and not a swordsman, and they're incredible archers. Or, did you know that you should check out healing magic? Great, now you've sworn fealty to me for the rest of my life. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Look, as the isekai watcher, the person you know who watches a lot of isekai, like, yeah, I'm eventually going to finish season 2, but it's a low priority. This is Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, The Conflict. This is the third part of the final the return of Bleach and the final season of Bleach. Hey, guess what? My number 12 anime of 2000. Yeah, it's probably like 13 or 12 anime of 2024 is Bleach. There's something to be said for waiting for the manga to be done for a really long time before you adapt it. Because in hindsight, you can look at it and go, hey, this was kind of a fucking mess, huh? So you have like hindsight. I think Perot doing it makes total sense. They're the perfect studio for this to come back with Bleach. Not a lot I need to say about it. The action's really good. It's still a fundamental element of this part of Bleach will never not be complete and total bullshit. You may know this from previous Bleach seasons and arcs, but Ichigo is the poster boy for the One. The TV trope, the One, about a person who is everything and the most important person in the universe from birth, with a bunch of retcons to justify even more stuff. That's Ichigo. He's still great because he's still just trying to do his goddamn best, but they can't fix that. But they fixed some other stuff in this particular adaptation. It's strong. I would go so far to saying having Disney Plus or Hulu, like getting that for a month to or two to get caught up on Bleach would be pretty fucking cool for you. I might even recommend that. Or borrowing a Hulu login, whatever you got to do. Blue Exorcist Beyond the Snow Saga. I am so I've said this the last time Blue Exorcist came up in here. I'm so happy for you. Anytime a show that there's been a long time between seasons and it feels like they're done and this may never come back, I'm so thankful for folks and grateful for folks that they get that opportunity. This show does not mean anything to me. I watched the first season of it and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that kid kind of annoying but kind of cool, and that's kind of fun, and some of these other things will be there, and okay, yeah, I like this, but it didn't like get me, but I know it's gotten some people. And you get more of it. And it didn't necessarily always seem like you were going to get more of Blue Exorcist. So I'm happy for you. And I've heard mixed things about this season, but I'm hoping it's great. Blue Lock Season 2. Now, I understand that I was harsh on Blue Lock Season 1 because I said I don't like sports anime. But all the sports anime that I have enjoyed have had the commonality of people coming together and realizing that friendship is the best part of sports. And Blue Lock, the very premise of Blue Lock is, fuck that. What if you're trying to beat everyone in your own team as well? And that just does not appeal to me at all. Now, apparently, by making it all about yourself, somehow it is all about the team as well. That is also part of it. And I don't understand how that works. And that's on me for not understanding how that works. But I just was like, yeah, no, I'm all right. Now, the idea of people being so supernaturally good at a thing, like to me, like, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. You're so good at this that you, like it almost is like you're in a fighting game. Cool. I think visually it's really interesting, but just like there's nothing about this that makes you go, yeah, that's exactly how I want to interact with sports anime. I'm probably missing out. But there's a lot of anime out there, folks, including Blue Miburo, which I keep forgetting exists because I'll tell you right now, folks, I have not thought about this anime since I did the fall preview 4 months ago. I have not thought about this for 1 second. I do like period pieces. I am interested in period pieces. I'm a little done with mid to late 1800s Japan. So I did not watch this one. I cannot tell you if it was good or not. It is based on a manga. I think Maho Film is a fine production studio. But, yeah. I was just like, oh, no, I don't. The Shinsengumi, I'm just like, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. But, yeah. Could not tell you anything about it. Episode, at the time of this recording, you're going to hear that a lot tonight. At the time of this recording, the 12th episode's coming soon. So, the season rolls on. Dan. Dan Dan's really good. Newsflash, I think Dan Dan rules. It is my second favorite show of the year. It did not beat out Frieren because Frieren is one of my favorite shows, period. Turns out. But Dan Dan's real good. One of the things that kind of holds Dan Dan back, in my own personal opinion, is that it is bookended by content warnings that of some scenarios that are not great. And it's one thing to be like, okay, we need you to understand that this is like, we're going to be silly, but also things are fucked. And I get that. And I understand that they have the first episode here being like, okay, well, things are going to be fucked early on. But to be like the cliffhanger at the end of the season being like, hey, things could get fucked up again. Maybe you were laughing too hard. You go fuck yourself. You don't need to be doing that. Yes, they did chop it at an interesting, odd part. And it is a thing where you're just like, okay, so you want to introduce the fourth character and then also start his story, but then also be like, hey, guess what? Things aren't going to be great over here. Okay, but you didn't need to do that. John says, I saw all of season 1 of Dan Dan. It's also top 3 of 2024. I appreciate the content warning at the beginning, so it's not like you'd necessarily blocked the cliffhanger. Yeah. Hello. I totally understand that, like, it's one of those things where, like, there's so much to love about it, and I don't think that it's hindered by having some scenes that are not for everybody. I don't think that, because also, this show isn't for everyone, right? Like, its vibes might be off for people, and I mean, to me, again, there's so much anime out there. If it didn't vibe, it didn't resonate with you. One of my favorite shows from the year is also from this season, and maybe that, you know, like, or previous season that I loved that other people didn't love. And it's like, yeah, that happens. Hold on one second here. Okay, no problem. So it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, maybe Dan to Dan isn't going to hit everybody the same way it hit me. That's because we're all different people. But maybe, like, if you want to give it a second chance, you should give it a second chance. I'm just going to say, I think it's real good. I have heard good things about the dub. I have not watched the dub, but the dub's all out there. If that's how you like to enjoy stuff, I hear pretty good things about that dub. Some of the jokes might not have translated super well because there are references to, like, old Japanese TV shows on there that might not fully work in the dub, but I don't know. You love the show. Disappointed I decided to handle the adaptation by ending in such a random spot. Yeah, I agree. I think, like, if you couldn't get the 2 core there, then do 11 episodes. They could have just done 11 episodes, you know? Science Saru just is so fucking good, though. I mean, that to me, that's the fault of the show is the pacing there. But otherwise, the perfect studio for this. Like, there are a couple that could have done it. Like, Bones could have pulled it off. And Mappa would have done a fine job. I feel like Mappa would have, like, a little of the heart would have been gone with Mappa. But Science Saru, like, perfect choice. Oh yes, yeah. The whole, like, there's some context that is missing that you might want to look up that adds a good bit of laughter there. To Dan to Dan. But yeah, it's great. Demon Lord 2099 is my most, I mean, you don't have to, but of the season. I don't think there's any other show that I am like, hey, I mean, if you've got a hole in your schedule, you could fill it with Demon Lord 2099. It is not an isekai because the main character is just in a world where science has progressed, but it's still the same world that he was in before because they also still have magic. It's not like it's a world that was replaced it. So you get cool cyberpunk backgrounds that are, JC Staff did a great job with it, that look really rad. You got a main character who is overpowered. He's the Demon Lord. Now it's the future. He's trying to fight his way back up and fix some bullshit. Also, It's a high school kind of like comedy. And the high school part is the part that's like, that makes it the most middle of the road. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. Because a lot of the jokes have to do with that. I mean, a lot of jokes are the reoccurring gag of, I'm very strong. Oh no, this guy just wrecked me with magic, not even with science. It's pretty repeated. But I like Demon Lord 2099. I don't know. I know this got delayed, and you wouldn't notice from the show. Sometimes you can really feel the delays. Didn't notice it with this one. It's really enjoyable to watch. It's a fun one. It's just also just like cool to look at. Demon Lord Retry R is less horny than Demon Lord Retry, the first season. First of all, they got a second season of this. More Demon Lord Retry. That's pretty cool. This is an isekai. I don't recommend you get caught up on it. You don't need to watch it. I finished it. It's fine. I don't think they needed to make more of this. Again, R, the sequel, is less fucked than the first one, but the interesting twist of this it's basically Overlord, but instead of I was in an MMO and now I'm in a fantasy world that's sort of like the fantasy world I was in the video game, but now things are real. This is, I'm a game developer and I'm working on this like futuristic kind of like GTA Online style game, and now I'm in a fantasy world. So a lot of his powers are magic based, but also technology based. And he also can summon NPCs from that game world. And so like there's some stuff that's kind of interesting, kind of unique, kind of cool. We also get introduced to a guy who's more of a traditional isekai character. That's kind of fun. He sucks, but it's kind of fun. So there's a lot in this that I'm like, that's interesting. That's cool. But then also it isn't great at all. So you don't have to. Dragon Ball Daima, we don't know how many episodes we're getting of it. There's been 12. Episode 13 at the time of this recording is coming out in a week and change. I still need to watch Dragon Ball Super, Little Daima. So here's the thing about Dragon Ball Daima. It's pretty fun. Episode 12 of Dragon Ball Daima did a really good thing that I won't spoil here in case you don't know. I talked about it on stream. I'm not going to say in this video because some people are behind on it. They did a thing that actually makes it stand out because Dragon Ball Daima really feels like, wasn't Dragon Ball great? Like, what if we did Dragon Ball, but it was like less horny, but still Dragon Ball? The problem with Dragon Ball Daima is that there's a plot device that gets overused in the show. They're on a planet, they're trying to collect Dragon Balls. They keep having plane troubles, spaceship troubles, vehicle troubles in general. And it's a reoccurring bullshit thing that I'm sick of. And it keeps happening. And then this past episode 12, it wasn't even the cliffhanger. They fixed it during the episode. It was just to pad time. It feels like, this would be over too quickly if we didn't have these stumbling things. And it just feels very cliche and really annoying. Fireworks are going off, and I'm doing my best to ignore it, but it's very difficult because there was a lot of fireworks going off. So, Dragon Balls which gets made, everybody's in kid form. That's pretty fun. You get to see Goku, who looks young, beating up dudes in a bar. And it kind of reminds you of old Dragon Ball. A little bit reminds you of Dragon Ball GT. I think it goes out of its way to not be Dragon Ball GT, which I can appreciate. But also, like, I don't know. The last couple episodes did some pretty cool shit that I'm really into. But I think maybe the way to watch it is to just wait for it to all be done and then just watch it in chunks and not watch it weekly. Weekly gets a little frustrating. We're on a break again here, and then it'll be back. I don't know. The dub is coming in January, so if that's your style, coming very soon. Goodbye Dragon Life is not an isekai, despite everything about it feeling like an isekai. It's a reincarnation story, though. Our guy was a evil dragon. He was finally done. The goddess had other plans for the dragon. He comes back as a human, and he meets a fun half snake lady. He was reincarnated in the same world. Yes, John. So it's the same world, exactly the same. Everything's the same, except now he's a guy and not he's a human guy and not a dragon guy. So like he was a dragon, now he's a man. And it's comedic in some ways. It's fucked up in other ways. I remember the manga. I've read past where these 12 episodes were. It's mid. It's fine. Nothing great really happens with it. In fantasy anime, the snake ladies are kind of underrepresented, so that's kind of fun. And she's a fun character, Selena. Like that's a good supporting character, or like co-lead. I don't know. It ain't great. One thing that was very interesting to me is I was looking for animated GIFs of this for a project or something else, and I couldn't really find any. And I was like, oh no, people not like this enough to put up GIFs on Tenor? And I think they didn't. It's like, ooh, that's usually a bad sign. Or the only clips are from like the trailer, and you're like, ooh. I'll tell you right now, I did not watch this. This was Amazon, but I think it was Amazon Japan. I don't think this had, correct me if I'm wrong, I do not believe that this show, Hagakura, I don't believe that this had a US release. So I don't know anything about it. Yeah, I didn't see this one here. I don't even remember reading about this show, so I don't have anything for you. But yeah, I'm not convinced that this came out in the US. So I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History did come out. I watched all 13 episodes. So I like this character a lot. I am a sucker for the otome game style isekai. I'm in a dating game, I'm the villainous. I'm into those. The animation here I thought was pretty good. I think it ends on a sour note. They got 13 episodes, but it still feels rushed. The 13th episode feels very rushed. And also, folks that watch me talk about this on a weekly basis already know my feelings on the prince of the country, who's also named Duke. The prince is named Duke, and I hate that. Anyway, Duke sucks. He sucks so much. He's a goddamn groomer, and he sucks, and I hate him. And he's the worst part of the show. And it would be so much better if we did not have the creep love interest who is like, oh, well, if I caged her, she wouldn't be who she is. And that's supposed to be a good, character development for him. That he doesn't want to lock up the main character in a tower to protect her because she wouldn't be the same person if she was protected. It's like, all right, well, I hate you. There's so much about it. I think the magic system is fun. I love the idea of a girl that loves the villainous, and it might be that she doesn't love villain characters. She loves strong, independent women, because her idea of what it means to be a villain is really just someone who's righteous and also loud about stuff and direct. And it's pretty great. Because she does so much to be supportive and awesome. And it's fun. Supporting cast, I think, is very fun. Again, I don't think it sticks the landing personally, and the love interest made me furious constantly. God damn it! Still fireworks. I mean, I know where they got them. I just can't. I'm just so surprised they have so many of them. But it's just constant fireworks right now. My apologies, folks that are watching this in the future when it's on YouTube. A week ago, it was New Year's Eve. Kagaku Boken Survival did not have a U.S. release. It is a 21 episode series. I don't know anything about it. I was like, I think this is a kid show, but I can't tell. It's got survival in it, but I don't know. I'm sorry that I don't have any information about this series, but also it's not legally available. Kami Irby God App Season 2. I did not watch Season 1. I did not watch Season 2. A Battle Royale anime has to be like unbelievably good for me to get invested in it, because I just don't particularly enjoy the action subgenre of Battle Royale or battle anime, those kind of series. I just kind of don't vibe with the whole style of it. So sometimes people will be like, oh, well, this show whips ass, Pat. And then I'll be like, okay, and I'll check it out. But like, the last one that I kind of sort of liked was 5 Seconds to Battle, because the power system was interesting. But yeah, I didn't check this one out because I didn't watch the first season. I'm surprised there was a second season. You can't always go by the percentages you see here. This is just what people who are on any chart and any list think of a show. It's not always the best indication, but maybe just for like a little bit, you know. Kino Konyu Mushroom Pup. I wanted to love this show. I wanted to love it. Just like a weird animal shows up and it's just like, what's going on? Like, yeah, mushroom dog, and somebody trying to like put their life back together, slice of life thing. It just didn't work for me. I thought like I got to episode, I think like 3 in it, and it kind of dropped off. And it was that thing, like I said, I think it was like eventually I was just like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna like it. I don't want to say it was saccharine because I don't hate saccharine, but I think the comedy was just like they were done with the comedy, and then it was just like, and now everyone accepts it. I'm like, Let This Grieving Soul Retire is a very fucking funny premise for an action series. What happens when you're the childhood friend that is not meant to be there and is not the best? Can you banish / kick yourself from your own party? In this case, no. Our dude is just like, you're the leader. You're the best. And he's just like, I am not. Now, how does he survive when he is definitely underpowered or no powered? Well, being the leader of this and being in a successful group, he has a lot of like items, like a lot of magical items to kind of like help him out of scenarios. And it does lean a little bit too much on that of like, oh, he's dead. Oh, no, he's not dead. He had this magical thing that we didn't hear about before. Okay. But you kind of have to keep that going, because if he runs away, the premise ends, right? And so there has to be reasons why he has to keep going. He has to stick around. He has to help out his friends who he still loves, even if he is in way over his head. And it's just like, how does he get out of this scrape? It's a fun idea. It's not my favorite show this season, but it says right here and there, the reluctant hero's journey, basically. That was pretty fun. I don't think you have to go out of your way to watch it, but, you know, you could do a lot worse, even this season, than Let This Grieving Soul Retire. It was pretty fun. Love Live Superstar Season 3, did not watch that. I don't watch a lot of Idol stuff. And I've never, Love Live has never hooked me. So I've not watched this. I hear this is a good one of those, but it was not something that I was particularly interested in myself. If it doesn't have zombies in it, it's probably not an Idol show I like. Which is true. Oh, yeah, okay. Yes. Yes, I mean, look, also, there are people who are like, I only like certain Idol stuff. And so, yeah, I hear you. So people only want Idol Master. Magilumery, Magical Girls Incorporated. This is not the... Okay, so there were a couple Magical Girl shows this season. This is not the one that I gave a try to. I did not give this show a shot. Even though JC Staff worked on it, who I like them as a production company. There's another... I wanted to make sure that this wasn't the Magical Girl show this season that I tried out. I didn't try this one at all. I hope it was great, but this one I skipped over. Mechaud, Mechanical Arms. I forgot this was coming out. This was not a mech series that I wanted to try out. The description didn't really help me out here. This is... I don't really know much about it, and I didn't give it a shot. MF Ghost Season 2. I stopped watching MF Ghost during the first season, so I did not pick it up. It's a Kickstarter show. Okay. I did not pick up the second season of MF Ghost because I didn't finish the first one. As many of you are aware, I'm a big lover of Initial D. There are problems with Initial D when it came out that you can partially give to the time that it came out, so the style of the time, and things like that. Generally, how women are treated in Initial D is not great. MF Ghost apparently just didn't learn that, and so now your opinions of women and how characters treat women and how women treat themselves and each other really fucking sucks. And now it's 2024, and I don't have to give a shit about it. Lashbrook says, so you watched that magic show. It was on Amazon, but you kept forgetting to keep up with it. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know, Lashbrook. I appreciate that. But yeah, MF Ghost, I was like, hell yeah, I'm psyched about this. I like the premise. I like the art style. I like the fish out of water, but the fish out of water has training as being a racer. It's kind of futuristic, but not too futuristic. But just the characterization, and there were so many characters that I'm supposed to like. Like, the anime is telling me I like this guy, and they just are awful. And I was like, no, I'm good. I think I'm good. So yeah, I didn't catch up in season 2 here of MF Ghost. Murder Mystery of the Dead is a show that did not get a U.S. release, and so I have no opinion about it. But it apparently is it's a murder mystery show, like a One of Us is the Killer show, and I didn't check it out. I am not fully done with Natsume's Book of Friends Season 7. This is one of those things where it's like, hey, congratulations to me. You know, I said that about some shows where you got more of it. That's for me. That's Book of Friends. Like, there's more Book of Friends. Like, I do need to finish this. This is a very good season. I'm very happy with it. Like, I don't know. At this point, there's so much of it. It's like maybe on a cold, rainy day, you'll decide you're going to pick up this show because there's a lot of episodes of it and get into it. It's just like, it's Ghost of the Week or Ghost of the couple episodes. But it's just like friendship and helping people out and weird shit. But it's just enjoyable. Like, it's just a really enjoyable, like, weird slice of life that I really like. So I was really happy to have season 7. I do need to finish it, though. I'm behind. I'm 2 episodes behind. Negative, positive, Angler. I wanted to be better than it is. I don't think it's bad. By any stretch, by any means or any stretch of the imagination, do I think that this is a bad show. I just wanted it to be either more dramatic or more of a balance between drama and comedy. There are some fun moments in it. I mean, it's a simple premise. Dude is at the end of his rope, but then finds a thing to get interested in, and people who are interested in it. It is the thing that, are you depressed or do you need a hobby? Or are you depressed and you need therapy and then also a hobby could help? But yeah, sometimes finding a new hobby, it really is like that sometimes, folks, where sometimes you just need a thing to look forward to kind of help balance it out or put things in perspective. So, like, I like it. I don't know. I wish it was a little bit more fun than it is, but it's still pretty good. And also, we do want to shout out original anime, right? When things are, there's so few things that are not adaptations of visual novels or light novels or manga or video games, or it's a multimedia project, or it's based on a fashion line. To have something that's just like, I don't know, we thought this would be cool. Also, it's produced by the studio called Nut. So, you know, I gave it a shot. I bounced right the fuck off of Nina the Starry Bride. Holy shit, this character needs to get her fucking life together. God damn. She's got to pretend to be a princess because of her powers. She's got to fit in. She kind of looks like somebody. She's going to learn a lot about life and love and herself along the way and the cast of characters around her. And I just wanted to throw her into the sea. Just wanted her to get tossed into the sea. A show that focuses on the growth of one character. It's fine to not like them in the beginning, but like 4 or 5 episodes in, I was like, I don't care what happens to you. So I bounced right off of it. I even gave it a 5th episode because a friend of mine really liked this show and was like, Pat, you're going to love Nina. You just got to give it more time. No. This is continuing. They are doing a truncated version with some new previews and some updated visuals that not every episode feels really updated. But if you were coming up on Fishman Island and you want to watch a truncated version of Fishman Island, congratulations. You got a truncated version of Fishman Island. I have not watched every episode of this because I watched the original and also never really got too bored. Fishman Island is long, but like there's fucking longer shit in One Piece that has more filler and more episodes that are just part of a chapter of a manga chapter. Like, I don't know. And I also don't think that Fishman Island looked bad. There's some other One Piece arcs that I would love to see with a new interpretation. And we will see those. The early stuff we're gonna get the new One Piece anime, all by Toei, and we'll be able to see that. And because there's a generation of folks out there that don't want to watch 4x3 anime, and I understand it, and I get you, and I hear you. It makes me feel old, but I understand. The less time spent with Fishman Island Sanji, the better. Yeah. I mean, Lashbrook, that's a fair point. Orb on the movements of the earth. I love Madhouse. I have a Netflix subscription. I did not get to this one. This is at the top of my, oh shit, I really got to get caught up on Orb. Orb on the movements of the earth just seemed interesting, like an interesting drama. But yeah, I've heard very good things. Again, it's the top of my list. I still have Netflix. As of yet, I have not let my Netflix subscription elapse. I think I have it till unfortunately, the way it worked out, I have it till the end of January. So I gotta watch this. This is gonna be in some downtime soon. I do want to check out Orb. Actually, let me just real quick. Yeah, I do want to watch Orb. Just yeah, go over here. We're gonna go back here. We'll go over here. Oh, a little preview there. I forgot that window was there. Orb, yeah, seems pretty good. I'm gonna check it out. Pariri is a kawaii slime. This feels like a kid's anime, and so I'm surprised that it got an adaptation, because a lot of kids stuff doesn't get sent out. Not adaptation. That's not what I meant. I was surprised that this got that Crunchyroll picked this up. This seems very cute. I did not watch it, but it seems fun. And yeah, the idea of like, okay, yeah, I made a slime. It now can turn into a girl, and that's troublesome. Like, yeah, that seems like a fun thing. It's not on my get caught up on list, but like, yeah, all right. Ranma 1/2, the 2024 remake. I know I've talked a bunch of mess about unnecessary remakes, and I don't think that Ranma 1/2 is an unnecessary remake. It certainly isn't like Orphan or Shaman King, where I'm like, who is this for? This is more, to me anyway, this is more along the same lines as Fruits Basket, where I'm like, yeah, we're back in it. Like, yeah, we're doing it. That makes me happy. I'm happy that we got Ranma 1/2, this adaptation. Some purists are out there like, I don't know, there was a lot of more fan service in the first one, and they're like, everyone's too worried, and like, Shampoo is ruined because she's not like a stereotype anymore. And it's like, okay, well, I don't need to hear your opinions on that stuff. We'll just go away. There are changes made. There's some filler taken out. There's a truer adaptation of the manga. And I think it's great. Animation style is fantastic. It looks great. I've now watched a couple episodes of the dub. I think it's a great dub. Yeah, I'm been around for a long time, but I watched a lot of Ranma. And that is the thing. All right. Actually, we do have a good point brought up in chat. You don't watch a lot of, you don't really enjoy rom-coms. So this is an action rom-com. It is a rom-com with action in it. It is not an action series with a little bit of romance. At the end of the day, these are characters who are engaged to be married, trying to like figure that out. And there is a lot of fighting. There is a lot of violence, but also it is foremost a comedy, like a romantic comedy that has some action in it. And I think that's where some people bounced off the show, because they were like, nobody even fought in this episode. It's like, yeah, all right, I get that. There's somebody I know, I wouldn't call them for a friend. I know them from, the internet, was just like, I don't know. The whole episode was a guy turning into a pig and then not turning into a pig. And I don't know what I was supposed to do with that. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, if you know, it's fine. You don't have to. I just think it was a really, really excellent adaptation. Big fan of the Ranma 1/2. Mappa did a phenomenal job with it. Great choice for them. And also, because it's a romantic comedy with action in it, it sounds like, production-wise, that it went smoothly, which is nice for Mappa. It depends on what team it is. They have several teams, but yeah, seems like it went okay. ReZero, Starting Life in Another World Season 3. This is also like my 13th or 14th favorite show of the year. It did not make my top 10. It almost did. It was close. It was really close to being my top 10. I don't know what to say at this point. I was a hater to begin with, because when I first started watching ReZero, the idea of a isekai character who had no powers at all, except for reliving moments and resetting, I was like, that's not interesting. He doesn't have anything going for him. But I did come back to it. I'm glad I did. This show is rewarding. There are the moments of levity exist so that the sad moments feel sadder, and it does that really well. And a key thing to understand Subaru, the character, is that Subaru is not a lighthearted idiot. He's an idiot, but he's lighthearted because that's all he can do in the moment. And he's lying to himself. And that, once I figured that part out of the character, it really unlocked the show for me. The support characters are really fun. This third season was great. Can't wait for more of it. I was happy with 16 episodes. That felt like it didn't feel stretched out. It eased into it, and then it was all engines running. I think season 2, part 2 was probably something I liked more, but that's just because some of the characters in that I really took a shine to. I did not watch season 2 of this show. I am not surprised there was a season 2. The one-line explanation I can give you for this show is that this dude figures out who did it and then makes the person, with his mental abilities, makes the person who committed the crime take responsibility, generally through suicide, like forced suicide, with their mental powers. And like, it feels like every episode is, or every arc is, okay, when are we going to get to the episode where a person kills themselves because this guy found them guilty? And I have a friend who loves this show. It is her favorite show, and so I'm happy for her. But I was just like, yeah, there's nothing about this that I'm like into. I don't know. And maybe I'm being incredibly reductive, but that's my take on it. After watching a couple episodes from the first season, I was like, I'm good. The sequel, this is the second season of Rurouni Kenshin, another remake that I don't need to exist. Look, yes, Rurouni Kenshin went off the fucking rails as an adaptation. The original anime adaptation of Rurouni Kenshin went off the fucking rails. And for diehard fans of the series, perhaps it's akin to Fruit Baskets, and that you deserve closure. You deserve a good adaptation that adapts the whole thing and does it well. But the mangaka of Rurouni Kenshin sucks. And I don't have to want anything to do with Rurouni Kenshin. And also, Kenshin is a throwback archetype that you don't see in anime anymore, and I don't think it's a bad thing that you don't see Kenshin types anymore. You know, your Vash the Stampedes, your in some ways orphan, the like goofy guy who's actually deadly serious on the inside but portrays himself as goofy. That's like he's accidenting his way through life. It's not a good wordage. Yeah, like, oh, Kenshin is a badass murderer, but like also a goof. And I'm like, we don't really see that anymore. And there might be a good reason why we don't see that anymore. Anyway, I don't want to keep talking about Rurouni Kenshin. There'll be more of it at some point. Spirit Chronicles Season 2. It's more Spirit Chronicles. I was very surprised that there was a second season of Spirit Chronicles, because it was a few years ago, because that show was like fine. That's a fine ass isekai. It left on a note. That's the MC of one of the most popular shows from the next season now. Spirit Chronicles is like that archetype. Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're not wrong that there are characters that are like that still, but I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me at this point. I got a character. In this instance, we've got a character. So one of the things that's kind of fun about Spirit Chronicles is a young boy in a fantasy world awakens memories of his life in Japan, but it's not, oh, I'm a Japanese person that also spent some time in this fantasy world. It's, I'm this character in this world, and also I had another life in another world. But that doesn't make me any different than who I am. It just unlocks powers and lets me be cool. Sakamoto days. Yeah, I guess you're right. That is a little bit. I don't know if he's that goofy, but he is like not what you expected. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about when we get there. But yeah, this character, like I said, that is an interesting thing to me. That this guy is more about who he is in the fantasy world instead of just being a replacement or like that. That's an interesting take on it. You don't see that a lot in isekai. There's some good powers in it. There's some fun nonsense in this one. He gets to beat the shit out of a guy that he's been wanting to beat the shit out of for like most of the show. So that's pretty cool. Even actually before the events of the first season. It's fine. I finished it. I don't know. I was surprised there was a season 2. Shangri-La Frontier season 2 happened. I am thrilled for my friends who really liked the first season. I don't particularly enjoy anime about people playing VR games, which sounds like very specific, but it is a subgenre. I like fantasy worlds. I like isekais. I don't particularly enjoy that. Now, there are exceptions, of course. Bufuri is wonderful. That's a lovely series, and that is a person that's just playing a VR video game. But yeah, I don't care. And even when there's ones where you're like, oh, okay, well, you're trapped in this game. Like when it's a death game, I'm also like, I'm all right. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I don't know. Like, there's another show this season that is also a show about people playing a VR game that I do not care about. So, we'll get there when we talk about it. I do know friends who really like this show, and I hope it was great. I'm seeing in chat that there was a side quest that kind of slowed things down, and that's a shame. Here it is. The other VR game. Sword Art Online Alternative, Gun Gale Online 2. So this is the spin-off series of one season of Sword Art Online, the season where they're playing a online game. Somehow, the guy that survived the death game where he played VR games still wants to play VR games and then plays a different kind of VR game that's more modern. And this is the offshoot of that, where it's mostly young ladies are the main characters, and that's kind of fun. And there's like, the first season was one of those things where you're like, is this going to turn into a death game? And it doesn't. I don't know. Yes. SAO, GGO, Alt. Season 2. This doesn't really do it for me. Like I said, I'm not super into the VR games as the premise for a show. Yes, I remembered one that I watched all the episodes of, but that was hate watching. Infinite Dendogram is another I'm playing a VR game anime. Infinite Dendogram is a show that a minor character gets revealed that he is the son of Sherlock Holmes, who was real in that world. And then it's never mentioned again and has nothing to do with his character. And I was like, I'm going to watch every fucking episode of this stupid show. And there were 13 episodes, and episode 13 was delayed 2 weeks. It's terrible. I don't hate watch things, but I was like, I'm going to finish this stupid show. God damn it. It's really dumb. Anyway, I didn't watch this one. The Do-Over Damsel Conquers the Dragon Emperor. This show is pretty good. It's pretty good. This is a time recurrence. This is, the death and the restart style of anime here. It goes off in a completely different direction. This is fun because this is like an alternate route of like an RP, like a very open MMORPG where you go in a different direction in the beginning. Like, life did not go well for her. She's like, I got to get out of here. I can't get married to this. I can't become engaged. I got to just find a guy and get engaged and figure it out. And then she finds the guy and she's like, oh no. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's an age gap in these characters. And the dragon guy, the dragon emperor, is really weird to her. And it's off-putting. And that might be your bail point, and I respect it. He's very awkward, and he doesn't mean to be creepy. Even if he is creepy, he just does not know how to interact with her at all, and does not know that he is making bonehead decisions, and he is constantly being told by his advisors and people that care about him, nope, don't say that. Why are you? Nope, you explain yourself properly. Nope, that was going to creep her out. So he's called on all his weird bullshit immediately. But it's still weird bullshit. Good action in this one. She's a fun character because she is not a damsel in distress. She's just a damsel. She's occasionally in distress, but most of the part, she's not in distress. The healer who was banished from his party is in fact the strongest. This is part of the kicked subgenre. This is a terrible... Every bit of this sucks. The characters suck. The writing sucks. The animation's quality sucks. The art style sucks. I gave this 3 episodes, and then I went back and started reading some of the manga to be like, is this terrible or is the source material is bad? I can't tell you if the light novel is bad or not. I've not read the light novel. I will tell you the manga adaptation and the anime adaptations are both ass. And there's like an overarching secret plot and it sucks. One of the main reasons why this thing sucks is, okay, our guy is a healer, right? And he's good at it. And he gets kicked out of his party. And then suddenly he's a good martial artist. And they don't explain why or how or anything. They don't go into any details about it. He just is. And they don't even give you the courtesy of being like, well, you know, he was training to be good in other things. It's like, no, all right. He barely even heals himself when he's fighting, which is like what some other shows did. That is a fun way of like, oh, the wrong way to heal. Went that where he's constantly healing himself so he can fight more. Like, no, this guy's just good at fighting all of a sudden. Yeah, it's a bummer. I will say this. People who are shitty to him keep being shitty to him even when he's awesome. And that's at least interesting. But that's the only part that's interesting about that. This is the Idol Master Shiny Colors Season 2. This was the other big Idol show for this season that came out. I did not watch this. I'm not big on the Idol stuff. Sorry. But I hope it was great. The Prince of Tennis 2 U17 World Cup semifinal. It is so shocking to me that we're in 2024, almost 2025, and there is still Prince of Tennis out there. Congratulations to all you friends out there. You still have Prince of Tennis. Congrats. The 7 Deadly Sins, 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, Season 2. I did not watch this. I gave up on 7 Deadly Sins a long time ago. And so this also does not appeal to me. I know that there are people who are still holding out hope that that 7 Deadly Sins, like that world, the art style of that will like come back around, that they'll start pumping more money into it and make a better product than they've been doing. But yeah, it never appealed to me. I kind of like some of the characters in 7 Deadly Sins, but not enough to stick with it. Okay, this is the magical show, a girl show that I started watching. It was based on a novel JC Staff, I like a lot. They did a bunch this year, but I do like them. This is the stories of girls who couldn't be magicians, and this is girls at magic school. This is the outcast class of people trying to figure something out. Hey, there's more to magic than what we're dealing with here. There's more to life than what we're dealing with. There's more stuff coming. And that's really enjoyable. I didn't finish this. I'm gonna finish this. It's on my list of things to finish. I have one episode left. I'm gonna finish it up. I tried to finish it before this, but I had stuff going on this past couple days. This one's really cute. I liked it. It's not my favorite show this season, but you could do a lot worse, and it's fun. And there are some twists that I think are pretty neat in it. I have not watched Thunderbolt Fantasy in ever. I was going to say a long time. I've never watched it. I have a couple friends that love this shit. They love their historical fiction with puppets show. And I love that for them. I love that they love it. At the time of this recording, Tonbo Season 2 is almost done. I have not watched the first season of Tonbo. So I can't tell you anything about the second season of Tonbo. Just that, I to reiterate what I've said before, and there's always somebody new watching. I don't really go for sports anime. I generally, if I do check out a sports anime, it's something where there is a lot of buzz about it, but it is a strong team. I have my good volleyball boys. I love my volleyball boys, right? Haikyuu, I love so much. Because it's a team effort, and there's a lot of fun characters in it, and it's about people getting better and coming together, and I really like that. But I don't really care about golf. Okay, you highly recommend for sports fans. Best sports anime with a female protagonist since Aim for the Ace. Okay, yeah. So I just haven't checked it out. She collects golf clubs like Dragon Balls. Okay. So that's the most interesting thing I've heard about Tonbo. Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. Hey, why didn't this show get picked up? How come I can't watch on Crunchyroll or Netflix or High Dive or Amazon? How come I can't fucking watch Tono to Inu? I want to watch this. I want to watch this show. I said, period pieces. Warring States period stuff. There's a guy in his fucking Shinoibu. That sounds rad. I want to watch this. It's a 2-core. It's a 2-core. There's still more of it. Oh. Look at this goddamn dog. Look how cute it is. You're telling me there's a show with a cute dog and an old guy with an eye patch, and I don't get to watch that? I don't know what's happening right now. Is it airing on Twitter? No, there's a Twitter page. That's all it is. There's a Twitter page last week. Generally, they include some sort of link to a website or like that. In this case, there's a Twitter page for it, and there is a website for it. That's why you'll see X there. Live 2D Creative Studio has me worried, though. Yes, this very much could be a slideshow anime. This could be an anime with a lot of voice work and just still images, right? That might be why we haven't seen it. But I thought the trailer looked kind of fun, and I don't know. I might have to see about this one. We'll say that. I've mentioned this before. Sometimes there's a show that I don't remember talking about in the preview when it's time to review. I don't remember talking about this Mahjong show. I think it makes total sense why I didn't watch an anime. If you know anything about me, you might understand why I don't know anything about an underground world of underground Mahjong playing. Why I didn't know anything. This show requires extremely deep Mahjong knowledge. It's really hard to follow. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that knowledge. This is a 2-core. I hope it's great. Trillion Game is another like psychological like battle game thing. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you folks. I looked at this image and I went, I'm not going to watch this. This image just completely made me think I'm good. Oh, it's ultra capitalism, the anime. Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know, maybe a con man. I have liked con man or con woman or con person anime before. Maybe I would like this one, but I did not give it a try. I dedicated a whole episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club to Sumo Show. So here's the thing. I'm going to try to like be concise about this. This is a bad anime, but not because of reasons that some people believe is a bad anime, okay? The fact that they called it Sumo Show, I think is totally right, because the literal translation of the manga name would make people lose their minds and be fucking furious. Unwarranted. Again, basic premise. A mom died. And for the 10 years after the mom dies, the family's broken, right? Dad's broken, daughter's broken. It's just an empty shell because this woman left them. And for 10 years, they've basically been on ice and they haven't grown or changed or moved on or figured out how life works. And then an elementary school student shows up and she knows things that she shouldn't know because she's the reincarnation of the mom. And she's there to help them move on. So when you hear the title, my wife or my reincarnated wife or whatever is an elementary school student, you're like, that sounds like a creepy show. That why did they make that an anime? Why did they make it a manga? Why did Crunchyroll pick it up? What the fuck? But it's not that. It's not about a girl that looks like she's a teen, like a elementary school student, or this guy like pretending or whatever. It's none of that's creepy. So the people who got mad about that based on the title alone can fucking relax about it. So your gut is to be like, it's not that. So you want to like defend it, but also don't defend it because it's not good. It's not a good drama. It's definitely not a fucking comedy. And it's barely a slice of life. It is a melodrama that doesn't make any fucking sense, and not the like, oh, reincarnation doesn't make sense, Pat, or anything like that. No, there's just like huge character moments in this that are just out of nowhere that exist solely to facilitate the plot moving forward. The source material is bad. The adaptation is fine. They didn't need to make it at all. There's no reason to make it. Again, Crunchyroll didn't need to pick it up and then not promote it at all. They did not promote it at all, and it makes sense they didn't promote it at all because they didn't. But then why pick it up if you're not going to promote it? It's not worth your time. This is not a good one. Yes. So here's the thing, right? The yikes factor is just the idea that like, oh, his wife is a kid? What? It's like, no, that's not the part of it. Because they're not trying to do that. It's not a gross anime. It's just a bad anime. And I don't want to talk about this anymore, so I'm going to move on. I changed my seating here. It looked like I leaned forward because I was really off. I'm just changing my position in the chair. Tying the knot with Amagami with an Amagami sister is this is a back-to-back 2-core. So here's the deal. This is a good one of those. I don't have it in me right now for one of those, for a young people situation comedy that is kind of horny, but like harmlessly horny. I think the premise is kind of fun. Like, he needs somewhere to live. While he's trying to get this he's trying to go to medical school, and he's an orphan, and he found a place to live. But like, hey, if you want to keep living here, you got to marry one of my daughters. And that's stupid. But because he needs to stay there, but he doesn't want to get forced into a marriage, and none of them really want it, but maybe they do. And I think someday I might even get caught up on this because it's a 2-core. Because again, I have liked some dumb harem nonsense, some dumb harem situation comedy nonsense. I liked Love Hina. I don't think Love Hina is great, but I watched it as it aired, and I liked it. Or I watched it, the fan subs of it as it aired at the time of its airing. So I'm not opposed to these kind of shows. I'm feeling like as I get older, the appeal of high school romance kind of feels less and less. There is a fun thing of them trying to become streamers and like YouTubers in order to promote the temple, and them being incredibly bad at it immediately. And that's very funny. But yeah, this one is just like pretty good, but like not something you really need to go out of your way to watch. But again, I just think it's part of it is like the premise, and part of it is just me. Oh, it's the most disappointing anime of 2024. Now, for me personally, my personal most disappointed is season 3 of Laid Back Camp, because the art style changed when the production changed, and I think it's bad. And it made the show less good because it's dramatically a worse animated show. But objectively, the most disappointing anime of 2024 is Uzumaki. It's a fucking bummer. Now, Jeff Thune over at Mother's Basement did a whole video on this, and you should check that out because I am kind of stealing his point, and he makes that point better than me. Yes, this show gets worse and worse and worse in animation quality and in the changes they made to the source material and the jumbles and what they've cut and what they didn't. And it gets worse and worse as it goes on. But also, there are problems with the first episode. It's not like the first episode is perfect. There's still cracks in it. There's still choices that are bad in it. But if all of the episodes were the same quality as the first episode, it would still be like visually interesting and cool. And you would go in, but you would say, someone would say, well, it's kind of a bad adaptation, but like it's the best adaptation we've ever had of any of his works. So like of Ito's works. So like it's still the best one, and it's got its flaws, but like it's just because they had to cram everything into 4 episodes. And that would be your big complaint, is that you wish it had more episodes. Instead of what we have here is, well, like burn Adult Swim down to the ground now, because they're not going to create anything ever again, and no one's going to try to make this again. And maybe Ito's works should not be adapted into anime. Maybe they are best left to manga, because maybe it's going to be too fucking expensive to do it well. Maybe Junji Ito's works are cursed and they can't be anime adaptations. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, this one was a fucking bummer. And I don't know. The first episode stuck with me, and then I started feeling bad about it. And it's a bummer. Yakuza Fiance, Studio Dean, who makes some stuff that I like. Okay, so do you like romance anime where the main characters are broken and there is no attempt for them to fix themselves? Then you might like Yakuza Fiance, because both of these characters are a mess. And that's not me saying that makes it a bad show. Both these characters are a mess, and they're kind of made for each other. I ended up feeling kind of cold on this one. I finished it. I didn't give up on it, but I felt cold about it. Some of the action scenes work really well. Her characterization is pretty great. This is they don't know each other. They're together. There's mafia stuff, lots of Yakuza stuff going on around them and to them. And she's a bit kind of protected from it, which has warped her in one way. He's been in the midst of it. It's warped him in another way. And it is that kind of thing of like, oh, now that I get to know you, I like you more. But also, now that I get to know you, I want to kill you. But also, I like you. But also, I don't care if something bad happens to you. But also, now, oh, but nobody better do that. That's my call, not your call, kind of a thing. It's pretty great. But also, I totally understand if like me, that after the first couple episodes, you were like, oh, well, these characters are fucked up. Huh. So it ends up being pretty great. I did not watch You Are Ms. Servant. There's a romance slice of life. I have a real issue with romances that are about employer and employee relationships. Maids, butlers. I don't know. I don't love it. I never really have. Same thing with the isekai trope of, oh, this person's a slave, but I don't treat them like a slave, but they are a slave, but I don't treat them like a slave, and now I'm in love with them. And I'll always have power over them, but I don't abuse that power, but I do have it. Like, I don't love that either. I don't enjoy that either. Also, there's a bunch of those things that I don't enjoy. So I don't enjoy this as a premise, so I didn't watch it. This one's got the kind of different element of her being an assassin before, but it's still like, I don't know, it's a workplace romance. You're not coworkers. You're not in the same, the power dynamic's off. I'm not into it. We got some shorts. We had some more shorts for a bunch of stuff. A lot of shorts don't come over here, and so I don't see them. I do want to watch this at some point. Guy gets reincarnated as a cat. It seemed cute. But yeah, I'll just go quickly through this because we got to go leftovers. This is stuff that was also the summer 2000. Oh man, it's a good thing that I have a 3-hour block here because it's an hour and 40 minutes in, and we haven't gotten to the O&As or the OVAs. The preview is usually shorter than the review because all I'm doing is telling you what it says there, and then if I've read the manga or I know the source material or if I'm going to check it out. So that goes faster, but yeah. 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. I did not watch the first season of, so I did not watch the leftovers, the second half of it. Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, I am behind on. There were 25 episodes in this. So I am I think I'm episode 15 or 16. I think that Fairy Tail ended really well, and doing a follow-up manga of Fairy Tail was unnecessary. Because Eden Zero also felt like a weird sci-fi version of Fairy Tail, and it just feels like this dude can't make things that aren't Fairy Tail anymore. Rave Master. It's not like Fairy Tail is Rave Master. Yes, we will get there. We will get there, yes. But yeah, this is just the further adventures of some of the characters, and look, yes, they did put in some of my favorite characters from that show. If you're going to take only a few characters and do more stories with them, they pick the good ones. But I'll finish it at some point because I've watched so much Fairy Tail at this point. I'm pot committed. Sengoku Yoko, the Thousandfold Chaos arc. This is the second and third cores of that. I did not watch the first one. I have heard mixed things about this. I did not watch Fate of the Majority because, as I've mentioned, I do not particularly enjoy death game anime, the subgenre of the death game. So I did not watch this. That got 24 episodes. Tower of God Season 2. Kind of a mixed bag, everybody. I think the animation quality somehow actually got better as the show went along, but it was really rough in some parts. This is not my favorite. Source material I like. I don't love it. It's not my favorite Korean comic. But I think the first season was made with a lot of love, and the second season was made with a lot of internal conflicts in the studio, it seems like. This feels like one of those things where you're like, did you guys take on something that you couldn't handle? Or was there, like, did COVID sweep through the studio? What's going on? It's probably not like Whisper Me a Love Song, where the original director quit right before the production started, and that they pushed it back a whole season, and then half the studio quit. So they had to take 2 weeks off, and then they didn't do episodes 11 and 12 until the end of the year due to commitments. They had to do it. That doesn't feel like what happened with Tower of God. I just think they may have bit more than they could chew. Again, towards the end, I think it did get better. But I also don't really love this particular season of the source material myself. Some movies. I didn't see any movies this season, but we'll go through real quick to see if there's anything that I do want to check out. There was they did the theatrical cut of some episodes of Gintama. Gintama Will Never Die. Let's see. Was there any movie stuff that I'm like hoping to see soon? I don't think so. At the end of the year. Oh yeah, the Solo Leveling Reawakening was just a compilation, and then the first 2 episodes of season 2. Season 2 is coming soon, folks. We'll talk about it in a bit. But yeah, the movie was just like, basically, you could watch the movie if you didn't watch the first season because you didn't want to watch most of a season of a guy struggling to be awesome, and then at the very end being fucking awesome. So you can watch the movie, if you want to do that instead. I have heard good things about this. The Lord of the Rings anime. I've heard some pretty good things about it. I did not see it. Okay, OVA's ONA special. Some of these are just like 1 episodes. Some of these are full seasons because they aired on streaming platforms instead of television. So this is where AnyChart collects them. It's weird, but that's how they do it. Acro Trip, I bounced right off of. This was of all of the magical girls that were this season, which we had a bunch. We had like 3 or 4 of them. This was one that I bounced right off of. The idea that I want to see you shine, so I am going to create situations where you can be a hero is interesting. I just don't know if this show handled it well. Agent Blue, don't know about that. Let's see. I can scroll through this. Beastars, I am still on season 2 of Beastars. I will finish Beastars someday. It's one of those dramas that's so good that, like, I don't want to, when I finish an episode, I don't want to watch the next one right away. You know what I mean? For me, I generally, if I've got a bunch of episodes of something, I will just like, okay, tonight, that's what we're doing. I'm just watching a bunch of episodes, 20 minutes, 21 minutes, 22 minutes. Where's the next one? There's the next one. Only take a break here, check my email. All right, let's get back into it. But with Beastars, I finish an episode and I'm like, fuck, it's just heavy. Even when there are cliffhanger episodes or like, ooh, I kind of want to know what's going on there. Ooh, what's that? There's a tease. I want to sit with it. Lashmer says, I watched that without knowing it was only part 1 and was so confused thinking that was the end of the series. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, this was the final season, part 1, and then part 2. Orange is just such a good job with this. But yeah, I'm in still season 2. I am going to get caught up. I'm going to finish it. I did not watch any of Blue Box. This is a romantic show that is also about 2 people. Can these people from different sports coexist and fall in love? And the answer is, from my understanding, is yeah. Why would you think they couldn't? The sports cross lovers is so funny to me because it's not like, oh, they play sports. They play the same for a sport for rival teams. No, they just play different sports. One's in basketball and one's in badminton. That's fine. What? Dead demons destruction. I watched all of this. Yeah, later they put a couple extra episodes. They finished the episodes. I watched all of this. People like this show a lot more than I did. It's weird, and I like that it's weird. But yeah, friends of mine who got into the show got into it way more than me. I still think it was great. I'm still happy that I watched it and that I got caught up on it. It's still, strange. Still pretty great. If you missed it, I would say, because it was going on throughout the year, you go back to it. Now that it's all out. Oh yeah, we didn't get that. That didn't come out. Tragic they aired episode 0 first. Yes, when they do that stuff, it's so weird, and I don't know why they do it. I often don't watch like the prequel episodes or the prologue episodes. I often skip those, and I would recommend that too. Okay, here we go. Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. Sunrise working with Safe House. This is a anime done in Unreal Engine. So, I have been on record that I often identify more with the in their own universe as opposed to the Universal Century, like main timeline Gundam series. I still like the original. I still like Zeta. There's still stuff in the old shows that mean something to me. Shows that are set in the main timeline. That's not why being in the main timeline is not the reason I don't like Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. It's mostly that it felt like I was watching it felt like I was watching a budget video game cutscene every scene of the show. Because it was made in Unreal, every scene of it felt like I was about ready to pick up the controller and take over. And that Gundam Requiem for Vengeance would make a really fun video game. But that's not a video game, it's an anime. It's the anime. So Uncanny Valley hit me. I don't know. I think the story is small and contained for 6 episodes. It fucking better be. I think the Gundams are a fucking threat in this one, and I love that. I love that in Gundam series. Iron Blood and Orphans is one of my favorite Gundam series, and that's a series that just says, hey, mecha, these things shouldn't have been made. And the Gundams feel like they're just gonna crush a mobile suit. They're gonna destroy a mobile suit. They're gonna eat your lunch. They are a constant, overarching, like, real threat. And I like that about it. It's the thing I like most about Requiem for Vengeance. The thing I like after the most of it, Gundams being a threat, is I like the name Requiem for Vengeance. It's good. It doesn't make any sense, but it sounds like it does. I watched episodes 5 and 6 because I felt like I should finish it. By episode 4, I was definitely checked out, but I did want to watch 5 and 6 because I do watch Gundam series. I try to watch a bunch of mecha stuff. I try to watch everything Gundam that comes out because I always love Gundam. I have most of my streams that are not streams here on this, that are not streams like this, are me building model kits. And most model kits I build are Gunpla stuff from Bandai from Gundam series. I want good Gundam series. My anime of the year was Witch from Mercury. Like, that show's phenomenal. This is the follow-up to Witch from Mercury outside of the metaverse internet episodes. This is the follow-up more than a couple episode series after Witch from Mercury, and it's disappointing. Witch from Mercury rules. It's incredible. And this was like interested. The most I can give it is Gundams are a threat, and I think that rules. And doing it on Unreal is interesting. I don't think it was successful, but it was interesting. I did not watch this. This was the 25th episode of High Card, the follow-up High Card Season 2. Didn't watch it because I didn't watch High Card. I ended up enjoying this one. How I attended an all-guy mixer. There was a lot of romance and comedy, romantic comedy stuff this season. This one was like, it was. We are almost at the point now where there can be bad queer anime, because there have been, and when I say bad, I mean like middling, unsuccessful. Not like this is offensive. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like not every queer anime needs to be exalted and put on a pedestal and said like, this is so good, even if it's like, like we can have, and it's okay. Because there was some really good there were some really legitimately good queer anime out this year, including Whisper Me a Love Song, which did stick the landing, even if I didn't love how it kind of switched gears, but whatever. And the shows that were like, the thing I want mostly is I want less of the queer baiting shows. And we're never going to get rid of those. There's still going to be shows where every main character is a girl and you're wondering the whole time, are these girls going to fall in love with each other? No, they're not. Oh, all right. That's never going to go away. But yeah. Yes, totally. Oh, I'm going to allow that. Yes, the queer baiting shows are out there. Like the many sides of voice actor radio. I was like, one of those characters was like, are you horny or are you trying to be provocative? And I can't tell here. That show, I was like, oh, that show ended up being pretty damn queer baiting. But like the two music shows that came out this year were like, these are subtext shows. They're all right. Anyway, How I Attended an All-Guy Mixer is fine. That's totally fine. It's great to have that. We need that as well. We need the fluff. Is it wrong to try to pick up Girls in a Dungeon Season 5? This is the sequel to Season 4 Part 2. This was 15 episodes. I am so behind. I'm never going to... Hey, guess what? I'm never getting caught up on Is it wrong to try to pick up Girls in a Dungeon? I don't care how good it gets. I don't care that the side series that was the Amazon Strike series was really good. I don't care that the movie was exceptional. I'm just never going back to it. Belle was getting stronger. Perhaps the villain is getting her comeuppance in this show. But maybe not. I don't know. I just think I'm okay with not finding out what the fucking deal was. But yeah, like at a certain point, Belle, like, I don't know. Yeah, at a certain point, hey, when it is a slow burn of a character getting stronger and stronger, eventually they get strong enough and you're like, well, either the villains have to get stronger to balance it out, or you have to like grow as a person. And it feels like Belle is still the same guy he was season 1. He just has more powers now. And it's like, well, grow and change a little bit, my guy. Oh my God, this is the longest I've ever done the first half of this. My local recording is an hour and 40 minutes. That's the longest I've ever done the first half of this. I'm glad. I think it's because I'm not rushed because I know I have plenty of time. It's going to be a long upload to upload this, the local here. I did not watch this because it has not come out in any way that I can watch it. It was a one-off to celebrate the franchise, and it screened only in Japan in a location. Eventually, it'll be available. It'll probably be on the Gundam YouTube channel at some point. Didn't watch that. Loner Life in Another World is the isekai I knew I wasn't going to watch this season because the manga... Okay, so the manga is still going on and should have ended 100 chapters ago. It's well over 200-something chapters. This show is interesting. A guy, class gets sent to another world. Guy gets all the leftover skills, and he's basically left for dead, basically. But he's a loner, and he doesn't want to be part of the class anyway, so he just goes off on his own anyway, and he scrapes together all of his skills, along with his own ingenuity, and the weird bargain basement skills he has complement each other really well, and he ends up surviving. And a lot of the show, which they skip over in the anime, is just him talking to himself as he survives. But also, as you can tell from the photo, there are other characters around. There's other stuff going on. I do appreciate that he just doesn't know anyone's name. He never learned his classmates' names, so he just refers to them as like class president, Otaku A, and the guy that talks the most is Otaku A, or like sports guy, and he knows like what sport they play, so he's like basketball guy A, and like I appreciate that he just never learned their name, but does know a thing about them. It's pretty fun. It's the power creep in this one is ridiculous. He just gets so strong. It's not good. You could do worse, but I would say just read the manga up until a really shitty dude gets killed. A really shitty villain character gets killed, and then that's where you can stop reading the manga if you really want to get into the story. Did this come out? Oh yeah, okay. So this was on Hulu. I didn't end up checking this one out. This one just seemed weird in a way that I wasn't into. Power dynamics, not none of that. We didn't get that. One Piece fan later. This was pretty fucking great. This is a pretty fucking great little thing. One Piece fan letter is pretty great. Special episodes for Plus Side Elf. I didn't watch that. What was this like? Yeah, I didn't watch this remake here. Or it's not remake, it's a new thing of an old show. I didn't watch it. A friend of mine who loves Star Blazers, was like, it's not good. And I was like, okay. I did not watch The Most Notorious Talker Runs the World's Greatest Clan. This is a thing of like underpowered main character. Like he has a skill, but his skill sucks. But he is smart and cunning and strategic, so he can use a bad skill and make it work. And I didn't end up watching it because I bounced off the manga. Oh, that's cute. All right, that's the end of that. Okay. An hour and 43 minutes later, I have talked about all of the fall anime season. I'll drink a little water here. We have an hour and 1 minute until on the East Coast it is 2025. So let's get into it. Winter 2025. We're doing it. Whoops. Gotta click out of that. Oh yeah, there's the clock. There's the clock there. All right, I have set these in alphabetical order. Now, at the time of this recording, a couple shows have had episode 1. By the time this comes out, several shows will have episode 1 already out there, and one show will have episode 2. I have not watched the one show, first episode that has already aired, but so right now I am coming in off my knowledge of the descriptions given there and me reading that before, hype from friends and watching trailers. Also, I have the benefit of I have read some of the source material of this, or I'm aware of the video game it's based on, that kind of thing. So I don't have a lot to say about these. We'll get through them as we get through them. This is House the Anime. It is or Quincy the Anime. But yeah, our main character is a doctor, and she's solving mysteries. And anime can be anything, even a kind of show your parents would watch, because it's just like a unlikely not detective is a detective story, but it's just animated. I probably won't watch this one, but it sounds, whatever. Like I said, anime can be a lot of things for a lot of different people. Anyway, I'm falling in love with you. Um. Okay, so, oh my God, how do I begin this? It happened, everybody. If you were wondering when the first anime was going to air, that is based on a manga, of course, but the first anime that is going to air, where in the background of it, the backdrop of it is the global pandemic of COVID. Here you go. High school student has the worst 17th birthday ever. She's missing her chance to get close to the older student she admires. Her parents don't even remember that it's her birthday. There's a new and an unknown infectious disease making the rounds, so all her club tournaments and school trips have been canceled. It's a high school romantic drama about a girl trying to have a great high school career that gets interrupted by COVID. They fucking did it. Did they have to? No. Did they? Yes. As far as I know, this is the first anime about COVID. But the actual story is, oh, well, her life is bad, but then all of her childhood friends, who were all boys, are all in love with her, and she's got to figure that out. I'm probably not gonna watch more than the first episode of this. I'm probably gonna watch the first episode of this to see if they say the name COVID or not, or flu, or anything. It's still fucking wild that this is an anime. Aquarion Myth of Emotions is the sequel to Aquarion Logos. I don't know anything about this. I don't know what a vector machine is. It's a mecha, but I don't remember the first one. I think this is for kids. I think this is targeted at children. But then I read the boys and girls burdened with their destinies will come face to face with the truth of the universe as the mysterious organization Space Egg Society. So there's a Space Egg Society, so I kind of want to find out what's going on with Aquarion and Mythos of Emotion. Kind of want to know. The fact that this isn't also a card game is surprising. Bon Vampire. Okay, so the premise of this sucks, but also maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. So a vampire is hanging out, working part-time at a public bath because the son that lives there is a couple years from now will be 18. And this vampire is focused on the idea of, one thing I've never had is an 18-year-old virgin's blood. I'd like that to happen. So this show is about a vampire cock-blocking a 15-year-old for the next 3 years at a public bathhouse because he's got to make sure that this guy's a virgin so that he can suck his blood. And that's kind of interesting, right? Like that, I'm not saying that's good, but that's like the fact that this is a vampire, a male vampire and a male, virgin takes out like some of the stuff that would suck about this, because he's not like, oh, I'm waiting for you to be older. It's, well, yeah, once you're older, then it'll be like, I got to make sure that you don't fall in love with anybody and nobody jumps your bones. Like, again, I don't think this is going to be good, and I don't even think I'm going to watch it. Netflix got this. That's weird. Why did Netflix want this, of all things? But the premise is at least not boring. There is so much romance anime this season. There's so much romance. We're going to talk a lot about romance. This is at least interesting. Bang Dream Ave Muchika is a sequel to Bang Dream It's My Go. Again, you know this. I'm not big on idol shows. This show had its first. This show has had its first episode already. Behemoneko, the elf girl's cat, is secretly an S-rank monster. This is an isekai. Oh no, it's not. That's right. It's not an isekai because it's the same world. It's not an isekai because he was a knight in his world. It's a reincarnation story, but it's not an isekai. The Sun High Dive. A dude gets reborn as a cat, but he's actually a behemoth, but he's just a cat. It's high on comedy. I've read the manga. It's not good. The manga's not good. I don't think this is going to be good. But if you would like a fantasy setting where the main character is not a human, it could be good. This show, I will watch the first episode of. This is not an isekai. This is also a show that had its first episode already at the time of this recording. Bogus Skill Fruit Master. About that time, I became able to eat unlimited numbers of skill fruits that kill you. So the premise is that when you come of age, you eat a skill fruit. It's a nut. It just looks like the nut of a peach pit, basically. You eat that, a little bigger. You eat that, and you get a skill. And it's the luck of the draw what skill you get. And you can't ever eat another one. You die. So you just get that skill, and you got to live with it. Our main character gets Fruit Master. And nobody knows what that is. It is rare, but it's clearly a dead skill. And his childhood friend gets a really powerful skill and becomes an S rank, and she... and he feels bad about that, and then he accidentally eats a second nut, a skill fruit, and he's gonna die, right? Except, hey, weird. Fruit Master means he can keep eating skill fruits, and he just gains the powers of those fruits, and he doesn't die because his ability allows him to take multiple things, so he becomes overpowered. And I'll probably watch the first episode of this. But yeah, it's airing on streaming services a week before it airs on TV. And I don't think this is going to be good, but I will watch the first episode of it. I'll watch at least a couple episodes. I bounced off the manga of this because it was like, yeah, all right, I don't know. More card fight, hell yeah. Not for me, but great. Dr. Stone's Science Future. We are getting there, friends. Okay, so this is the first half of season 4 of Dr. Stone. We're going to space. That's not a spoiler. We're going to space. I am not going to spoil for you Dr. Stone. The manga has already existed out there. You can find out if you want. I have a video where I talk about a certain topic, and I've been waiting to make this video for a very long time, and I refuse to make this video until Dr. Stone is over, because there's something that happens late in Dr. Stone that I want to talk about in a video. So I've been waiting for this. I am not anticipating because I love Dr. Stone, which is fine. I think it's fine. I think it overstays its welcome. I like the pirate stuff. That was pretty good, the New World, but I don't really like this arc at all. But I just want it to be over so that I'm not spoiling things for people when I talk about it. Even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest. So, this show is an overpowered main character. He only has appraiser, which sucks because it doesn't let you do anything except tell what's going on there. But his eyes are good because of that. And he doesn't have hidden powers, right? He's not banished. He doesn't have he just has a shit life, and he hates his lot in life. And then he has an experience where he meets the daughter of one of the daughters of the World Tree. And he's just given a cool ability, and he makes good, because he's an appraiser, he can take advantage of a bunch of cool abilities that he gets. And he doesn't suck as a person. He's a pretty good guy. And he's doing the right thing. And this is just there's so many daughters. All of the daughters are great. All of the sisters are great. There's sisters and then guardians looking after the sisters. And there's a lot of characters, but it's fun. This is a pretty fun show. I've enjoyed the manga. I should say, pretty fun manga. I haven't watched the show yet because it hasn't aired yet. I don't know if this is going to be on my watch list or if I'm going to get caught up on it, but I liked the manga, so I'll probably check it out. Okay, so this got teased before. The Eggman mentioned this. Farmagia. Farmagia is based on a video game named Farmagia, and it is an anime about like the king is dead and there's a power struggle, and the monster ranchers, they don't call them that, but the people that raise monsters have to fight back, and this rural community is fighting back together, and it's about friendship. And if you squint at the photo, you are like, hey, wait, is this Fairy Tail? And no, it's not Fairy Tail, and it's not Eden Zero. The mangaka of Fairy Tail and Eden Zero and Rave Master did the character design for the video game Farmagia, and now this is an anime based on the video game. And he fucking made, for the third fucking time, he made the same goddamn guy. The fact that I don't see Happy in this is shocking. But that's Natsu again. The main character, Eden Zero, is basically Natsu again. And I didn't look this up, but I bet the voice actor for this character is the voice actor for Natsu and the guy from Eden Zero. Rave Master doesn't look like Fairy Tail, and I don't know, he made Fairy Tail and he just won't make anything that isn't Fairy Tail anymore. And like, hey, good work if you can get it, but also what the fuck? I saw this image and I went, are they ripping off Fairy Tail? And no, they're not. And that's definitely Lucy. Slightly different, but it's definitely Lucy. That's gray, like Jesus Christ. Flower and Asura is a slice of life drama about a girl who loves telling stories to children and gets recruited to be part of the school's broadcasting club to do, I imagine, radio dramas for the school. And it's on High Dive, and I'm gonna check this shit out. I have not read the manga. I don't know anything else about it other than this description made me go, oh, the idea of like a small school that's about the size of my high school at the time that I was there. It's bigger now, but at the time I was there, like, oh, okay. Girl is great gets invited to join that, and like, sounds like her life is finding something she's good at and she does well and enjoys, makes her life better. Yeah, sign me up. That sounds lovely. Flower and Asura. I'm going to check that shit out. That sounds real good. From bureaucrat to villainous, Dad's been reincarnated. So this is an isekai. It's an otome game isekai where someone dies and is reincarnated as the villainous in a dating game world. And this old man is now Grace. And she's the Duke's daughter. And you can take the dad out of Japan, but you can't take... Well, no. You can put a dad in a damsel's body, but he's still going to be a dad. So I've read a bunch of this manga. It's fun. This is a fun one. If this is the isekai this season you want to check out, maybe this is. There are 8 isekai, but one is a short that is not... The first part of the short didn't get a US release, so it won't get a US release. So there are 7 active isekai that you could watch. This one might be the one to check out because he's like, oh, I'll be the villain because I want to make sure these young kids get together, and they might not get together if I'm not a proper villain. But he's still a caring dad type. so he's not good at it. And yeah, it's fun. It's a fun, weird thing. I know some people don't love the like, oh, I was one gender and reincarnated as another gender thing. I know that's not a deal breaker, but it's like a, I don't know, yellow flag for some people. But for me, anyway, this is one of the good ones. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, I can't talk about Grisaya enough or too much. Visual novels about a guy who was from a young age was trained to be an incredible assassin. He became part of the government special program. A bunch of Grisaya is about him at a special school for like troubled young women, girls who have like had different issues and a high scale, but they're like well-to-do. And he, through the course of several seasons, helps them out. It's very horny. It's very action forward. It's definitely based on a fucking visual novel. And then there's a whole arc where he gets to do cool shit that he wants to do. And he gets to like right some wrongs in his own personal life, and the girls kind of step aside. This is like a sequel series. This is like 10 years later, and it's now that school, which used to be for like wayward girls, is now a training camp for people who are part of like a elite military unit for Japan, like Special Defense Force. Yeah, but even more so. And so now it's just like an offshoot about like schoolgirls who can kill. And that might sound great to you. I am out of the game when it comes to Grisaya. I think I'm good now. I'm done with my water. Now it's time for my water. But yeah, I think I'm done with this particular series. Headhunted to Another World, from Salaryman to Big Four. This is the other isekai this season that I think you should check out. It's just fun. This is just fun. A guy a middle manager, salaryman, gets recruited for the Demon Lord's army as one of the four kings. And he doesn't have abilities, but he does have knowledge of like corporate structure, and he's also a good guy. And there's a little bit of romance here and there, but it's mostly just about like treating the demon king's army like a business, and like making things work out for people, and noticing like and reminding what it was like to be a low-level employee. It's fun. It's a fun series. Headhunted to Another World. I've been looking forward to this one. Honey Lemon Soda is another romance series. There are a lot of romance anime this season. This is not one that I am going to be personally watching. This is about like a girl that had a very short conversation with a guy that changed her whole life, and so now she's following him to a cool school so that she can like fall in love with him. And then her world changes, but I'm not super into it. I left my A-rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. So this is not a comedy. The first, if this is going to be 12 or 13 episodes, we might not get to where it's really fucked up. The thing is that this series, I gave up on the manga. This series is dark and just gets darker and darker as it goes. And it's not a party. Sometimes it's a little ecchi and kind of fun because it's like this dude got banished from his party, he got kicked, and then he ran into some people that when he was trying to get worked for the guild for a little while, he had like showed them the ropes, and then he gets to show off that he's actually awesome. But it is what it is. Not great. They later add in a couple characters that are pretty fun, but for the most part, I may be the guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. Cloverworks is doing this one. I'm psyched about this one. This show, this manga rules. So I'm very excited about this show. Premise is very easy. This girl has, a lot of people have like skills. They have like legendary skills or common skills. She has a legendary skill. She is unbelievably strong. She could be an adventurer, but she doesn't want the adventurer life. That's risky. You could die at any time. You're only as good as your next job. It's hard to save and all of that. So what's the best gig in the world if you're in the world of adventurers? Being a guild receptionist. You get a cool uniform. You clock in and out at different times. You may eventually like move up in the world there. You can live comfortably and get a house. You don't have to travel. That's the job she wants. And the job is perfect. Except that like sometimes there's like a dungeon that's unbeatable. Or there are monsters that show up and everyone's having trouble with it. And then her paperwork increases and she has to work unpaid overtime. So then she dons a hood and handles the problems. And she wants to keep that and keep her secret as long as she can. And then people want to recruit her for things. And so people find out her secrets. It's really fun. It's a really good time. I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. That's like of my like top 5 for this season of me being excited about shows. I want to escape from princess lessons. This is the twist on the old story of the girl who is so there's the idea of I have been banished. My engagement has been broken. Oh no. That's a tale as old as time. Then there's a twist of it on, actually, I want that to happen, and I'm excited that that is happening. This is part of that. This is part of the twist. But this is a twist on that twist. The twist is, oh, actually, I'm excited about leaving. I wanted this to happen. Maybe even I was evil to make that happen. But the twist is, the prince is like, oh, I fucked up. Like, immediately, the prince is like, should not have broken into my engagement with her. She was actually awesome. And I didn't even want to break up with her. What are you talking about? And so it is a romantic comedy, and I'm not going to watch it. It's an interesting premise, but not something I want to watch. I'm getting married to a girl I hate in my class is exactly what it says on the tin. Again, there's a lot of romantic comedies out this season. This is not one I'm particularly excited about. They have to pretend, they have to keep the fact that they are engaged a secret, but also they have to get married, and maybe it's not a bad thing that they're engaged. I did not watch season 1 of Ishura, so I have no comment on season 2 of Ishura, but I did not watch the first one. I'm a noble on the brink of ruin, so I might as well try mastering magic. This is a perfectly fine manga that I have read. Is an isekai. Guy wakes up, he's in the body of a guy with magic, you know, the usual. But he's like, oh, this is going to be great. But then he kind of recognizes, like this title says, oh, like things are going bad here. I'm not the first son, so I can't inherit the title anyway. Things are rough in this area. I might as well focus on magic. And then the world opens up to him because he can work on magic. And there are a lot of girls. This is going to be fine. I probably won't watch this weekly, but I will be watching it. The sequel to the new production, which is also a prequel of our fun muscle men, Kinikuma. I will eventually watch this. I watched the first season. I eventually will watch the second season. I probably won't watch this weekly. It's pretty good. This did not get an English translation of the name. I believe it is something to the effect of, can you keep a secret? That is something in there. That we work at work, can you keep a secret? It's something to that effect. At the time of this recording, this has not been picked up by anybody. So I do not know a Crunchyroll or Hive or anything. So I do not know if anyone will. I would like to watch this because it is a workplace romance comedy where they are on the same level. Basically, no real thing to hear. Hey, they work together and they recognize that each other is pretty good and pretty cool and it gets each other going, but they don't want people to know that they're dating or hooking up. And so they got to keep it a secret. That's the premise. Pretty simple premise, workplace sitcom, but like, yeah, kind of interested in it. Of the romantic shows out this season, this is the one I'm probably most interested in. Magic Maker, How to Make Magic in Another World. Studio Dean is hit or miss with me, but this is the other isekai. This is the like guy who thought that when he turned 30 as a virgin, he would be able to use magic, but instead he dies and then he gets reincarnated and he and his sister are like, we're going to fucking learn magic. And they're going to go on adventures and learn magic. And I have not read the source material of this. I'll probably watch the first couple episodes and then see if I want to stick with it. We got more Precure. This is 12 episodes for the 20th anniversary of the Precure franchise. This is a direct sequel to... Oh, yeah, okay. So this is like... Yes, this is a sequel to the... They made a Precure aimed at people who have grown up watching Precure. And that's an interesting idea. Instead of, we're going to keep making the same thing and know that they're adult fans, but we're not really making it for the adult fans. Instead, they're like, here's your like history of, here's your like references to old Precure stuff. This is for you. And then we're going to make some stuff for younger kids as well. That's an interesting idea. I don't know if it's working out, but that's at least it is an interesting idea. Mashin Shozukin Wataru. This is a new entry in the Mashin Yuden Wataru series, which I don't know anything about it. It's a fourth grader who is battles to become as a Ryu tuber. It's a mech series that Bandai makes that I've never heard of. I know nothing about this. So far, no one has picked it up. Medica. Okay. Oh, okay. Medica is impervious to my charms. This is another one that I was like, I'm probably not going to watch this. It's a romantic comedy series. The premise is everybody likes this girl except this guy. This guy shows no interest in being attracted to her or interested in her in any way, and that makes her want to go out of her way to get him to be interested in her. There are a lot of new shows. You're not wrong. But yeah, this one is like fine. I probably won't watch it. As I said, there's so many romantic comedies this season. If the one about the coworkers doesn't get picked up, I'll probably pick up a couple high school ones, but I'm less inclined. And just the idea of like, oh, you don't like me? Well, now I'm going to make you like me. I'm like, eh. It worked for Whisper Me a Love Song, but I don't know if it works for this. Medalist is it's about figure skating. It's about young people in figure skating. That seems kind of fun. I don't know. I don't have Hulu or Disney Plus at the moment, but maybe I'll check it out. Momentary Lily sounds bad. This art makes me go, uh-oh, what is this? What's going on? This art, it looks bad. Yeah, this is a Go Hands. Go Hands don't have a lot of things that I like. They have not made a lot of things that I like. They've made a lot of stuff that I think is bad. This seems terrible. Robots have shown up and destroyed the life. This girl has no memories, and main character has amnesia. Terrible. She finds a bunch of other girls, and they all have different abilities, and they're gonna fight monsters, robots, and then also cook meals together and hang out, and then also figure out their past. They made one of my favorite anime of last year, which was the one with the human-sized cat. Oh, yeah. So that show had the writing is really fun, and the animation was terrible. I did not like the look of that show at all. Did not enjoy how that show animated, because Gohan's is bad at animation. Everything I liked about that show was voice acting and the premise. But they're not a good studio. And so I'm not going to watch this show. Yeah, none of this sounds good, and this studio is bad. My Happy Marriage Season 2, I did not watch Season 1. I heard good things about Season 1. I never got around to it. Maybe I will watch Season 1 and Season 2. I'm kind of wait and see on this one. I know some people really like My Happy Marriage, The Shape of My Happiness. But yeah, I didn't check it out. Okitsura fell in love with an Okinawan girl, but I just wish I know what she's saying. I think that needs to be I just wish I knew what she's saying. But whatever. So yes, you bring up an excellent point. This sounds like a fun romantic comedy. Guy falls in love with girl. Girl has a regional dialect that is tough for him to understand. He has a friend that is helping him translate. And so there will be a lot of like misinterpretations because of the dialect and differences in that. That's fun. Here's the thing. Can subtitles convey that properly? Subtitles can definitely translate what she's saying, but can they translate idioms or have an idiom like, or having a turn of phrase? Because also she's going to say stuff and then someone's going to interpret those things, right? So what will be lost in translation for the viewer, not just the main character? What will be lost in translation for us? And like, I don't think that if this got a dub, would she have a Southern accent? Would she have a foreign accent? Like, what would be the translation of that? Yes. So like, this is interesting, even if I think the premise is kind of fun, but the idea of seeing how it works is also interesting from a like perspective of somebody that like looking at the translation, the localization, like what are they going to do with this? Kind of interesting. Possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. So this is an isekai. A guy gets summoned. He was not supposed to be summoned. So the goddess pulls him out of the summon. She's like, you do not belong there. You would not have hero powers. You don't have to worry about the demon lord. I'm so sorry I summoned you by mistake. Let's hang out. What do you want to do? What kind of powers do you want? And he's just like, I don't want to fight people. I like some kind of production thing, like alchemy or something like that. I want to make stuff. I like crafting. Well, he's an incredibly good crafter. Part of it is the fact that he was summoned, so he has extra powers. Part of it is the goddess feeling bad about what happened. Part of it is his own ingenuity. He's weird from the jump. And he's a great alchemist. He gets a spider friend that isn't in, I think is in the photo, but like down in here. They're showing us a lot of ladies, which means that they're going to breeze through this, it looks like. So I can tell you that the spider also becomes a girl spider. And the majority of these people are slaves. This manga for me, the source material, goes off the rails and becomes another one of those, and it's a shame. So I'm going to not spoil anything, but I'm going to tell you a little bit that like a good beginning of this, the stuff that I think was really good of this is him figuring out what alchemy does, him working with his spider friend and communicating with his spider friend and like solving some problems, trying to fix some stuff and build things, making a partnership with the merchant, who's a really fun character, just going about the world, making stuff and like shocking the world with his inventions and creations. And at a certain point, somebody's just like, you need some help. You should get some slaves. And he goes, I don't want that. Actually, I don't want that at all. I don't feel right about that. I'm not into that. And I remember as that was coming out, talking with some people that I knew were reading it with me, and we're like, thank fucking God, this is not another one of those, like, I'm a good slave owner kind of bullshit stories. This is awesome. Hell yeah. That was just a weird thing. And, like, maybe he's going to free a slave later or something like that, and there'll be something like that. No, a couple chapters later, he's like, actually, I really do need some help, and I'll get those two girls, and then another girl later, and then these other two people, recently, there's some little cats that we saw earlier that are there. And it just becomes one of those, and it loses a lot of its charm. Because it's like, I don't care how good an owner you are, you still have slaves, and it still sucks. I'm not going to finish this show. I'm not going to watch every episode. I just kind of want to watch the beginning because the beginning is good. So I will watch the first couple episodes of this show because I am interested in that. Promise of Wizard is the final, I believe, the final isekai that like you'll be able to see, because there's one that I don't think is going to get adapted. Girl ends up in a place where there are wizards and humans, and they have to fight, and she's the secret to everything working out. This is based on a video game, and it feels like, I don't know that. This has to be a gacha game, right? Like, there are so many boys. This has got to be a gacha game. But it's based on a video game. This girl is important because she's the sage. She's going to lead everybody to battle. Maybe it's not a gacha game, but it fucking definitely feels like it's a gacha game because there are so many boys. I'll watch it because I watch every isekai. I don't know if I'll keep up with it. Hell yeah. This is the second season of Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is, in my opinion, the best adaptation of a South Korean comic, of a webtoon there is. The first season was really slow going. Maybe you bounced off of it. Maybe you didn't get into it. But it rules. The adaptation changes a few things from Solo Leveling. It cuts out some of the edgelord stuff that was so weird that like even the creator was like at the time was like, yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. You know, you make things weekly. And some things were changed that were a little confusing and were supposed to make things make more sense, but maybe didn't. By the end of the first season, our dude is starting to become a badass. He only gets stronger. And then there's also a couple subplots that started kicking, like a big subplot that will be in this season started kicking off the end of the last season. He's almost the character that he is for the majority of this series, which is a very long series. If you haven't checked out Solo Leveling, I recommend getting into it. It's a really good adaptation. And A1 Pictures is doing a phenomenal job with this. All right, we got 20 minutes until the new year, so I have 20 minutes to get through the rest of this anime. We're going to do we'll hopefully get a quick tier maker in as well. This is a girl who discovers golf might be the secret to her not being a background character in her own life. Sorario Utility is this is a fun premise. It's gonna be in High Dive. Again, I'm not big on sports anime per se, but I might check this one out. I love the idea of her being like, you know, school didn't work out, but I found something that I like. Tasakuri Hotel right now does not have, no one has picked this up yet. Time of this recording, they might. It's a weird hotel. it's a mystery hotel and a girl named Neko. And protagonist comes across this hotel with no memory of who she is, how she came to be. Basically, she gets a room and it's a mystery show, supernatural mystery show. Seems kind of interesting. 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, Season 2. That's right. They made a sequel to this show. This is one of those things where I am just too old. I watched Sister Sister, not the twins live action sitcom, the anime Sister Sister, about a guy that finds out he has like 100 sisters. I've watched these shows. I just don't have it in me anymore. I'm 44. I don't have it in me to watch a show like this. I hope you enjoy it if you're out there watching it. The Apothecary Diary Season 2. I slept on this show when it first aired, and I was wrong. This show rules. I'm glad that we got a Season 2 so quickly. Apothecary Diaries, get on board. Don't be like me. Get into it. Here's the isekai I forgot. I forgot about this isekai, the daily life of the middle-aged online shopper in another world. This dude, this is an easy one. I forgot about this one because I've read this manga and I keep forgetting that I've read it. I have restarted this manga several times going, oh shit, I've actually read this already. A dude, like, he can make money moving stuff between the world. Campfire Cooking in Another World is definitely a little bit more chill. But also, yes, in Campfire Cooking in Another World, he does have access to ingredients and all that. So this guy, yeah, he can buy stuff. He can buy stuff in Japan and sell it. You get the buyback thing, and he can also get money and do all that. And yeah, he just becomes an online shopper in Another World, and he ends up becoming like the head of an agency, like a handyman agency. They get stuff done. We got also, one thing I will point out, the cat girls in this, because there are 2 cat girls in here, they're not just like, oh, I have cat ears and I have a tail. Like, they're fursuit people. And that's interesting in only that it's unusual to see that and kind of fun. But yeah, he ends up with a bunch of girls that work for him. And you can see in the background there that there's some CG, definitely. I was like, when I started reading this again, and they came to it, there was a dump truck and it was like some construction equipment. I was like, if that's going to be CGI in the anime, it definitely is going to be CGI. The Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. I keep saying, oh, and that's the last isekai, and I'm forgetting. Yeah, this is also an isekai. Basically, this dude thought he died, and he did die, but he got reborn in a different world, and now he's an adventurer, but he's still a ranger at heart. He's still a superhero at heart, even though now he is in another world, and I believe he is dumb. He is like really stupid. I have not read this manga. I don't know if I'll watch this. I'll watch some of this anime because I do try to watch all the isekais. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Season 2 of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I did not enjoy Season 1. I have some friends that really like it. They found it very fun. I was just like, I'm all right. So I'm probably not going to watch Season 2. Unite Up. Unibirth is the sequel to Unite Up, which is a idol boy show. Unnamed Memory. They made a very quick sequel to Unnamed Memory, and I'm shocked about that because I did not think that this was a popular anime. I'm very surprised. A dude will die at a certain age, but he's trying to get a witch to, because he'll die because he can't have an heir because of a curse. He's looking for a witch to either lift the curse or marry him. He meets a witch. He'd like that witch to marry him. More stuff happens. A lot of more stuff with going on. with his with her backstory. There's some action, bunch of nonsense. I kind of bailed on it. It's a pretty good show, but I didn't finish season 1, so I'm not going to watch season 2. Welcome to Japan, Ms. Elf. Now you're saying to yourself, Pat, this is a reverse isekai, which is not a thing. But this is an isekai, Pat. No. This show contends that the main character is the guy that the elf comes to live with. So it's Tenchi Muyo, where it's on Earth and they're aliens or people from another dimension, but the main character is the dude. Like, the belief that Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is not an isekai because the main character is Miss Kobayashi, not Toru or any of the other dragons. That's the idea. Is it pulling hairs? Yeah. Do you want to consider this an isekai? Go ahead. Anyway, this dude had dreams of fantasy worlds, and then he kept meeting this elf, and then she's there. Now she's there in the world, learning about Japan. I don't know if I'll watch this, but it sounds fun. Zensua is Mappa's new thing. It is an original series, and I am excited about Mappa doing an original. The premise is kind of fun. Again, lots of romantic comedies this season. Mappa doing a romantic comedy with some action, but the action is staged action. Interesting. Basically, this girl is the next big thing in anime. She is the next big anime director. But her second project is a romance. And she's never been in love. And you're thinking, maybe you're thinking to yourself, like I'm thinking to myself, why did she say yes to this project? If she's like such a like big deal, why didn't she just say no and do something else? But anyway, the production stalled because she can't figure out what love is. So she can't really well direct this thing. Which again, I'm like, what? Why would you say yes to a romantic comedy movie if you're not comfortable? If you're such a big deal and a phenom, do something, whatever. Anyway, it's an interesting premise. I also watched the trailer and I thought it looked neat. Okay. Oopt Blatt. I'm not going to watch this. This source is the manga, but if you told me the source of the material of this was a video game, I would believe you. This just feels like a fucking video game. Pursued by the traitorous lances, 4 powerful warriors who were thought to have been defeated by the 7 heroes. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Shorts. There's only one short I'm interested in. Yeah, it's on Amazon, yeah. There's one short I'm in. Okay, so this is the isekai. This is the sequel. This is the only other isekai. The first season didn't get picked up by anybody. This won't get picked up either. So there goes that. I might try this. I'm living with an otaku neat. Kunonichi. This is a short that is airing on High Dive, and so I might check it out. Basically, a dude has to be protected from demons, and he's being protected by various girls, including a ninja. But the ninja is just an otaku who just wants to hang out. And also, it's a romantic comedy. And I don't know if I'm going to watch this, but I'll watch the first episode. Theater of Darkness. More Theater of Darkness. That's cool. A bunch of leftovers. We got to go to OVAs here. Movies. This Doraemon movie is an isekai. Just pointing that out there. Doraemon, Nobita, and friends enter a painting into a medieval European world. They meet Claire and Milo, children of the country of Artoria. They also encounter a small demon with wings named Chai. Together, they face a powerful enemy for a legendary jewel. Doraemon. This Doraemon movie is an isekai. There is a Kaiju number 8 movie, which is a compilation. And that sounds cool. And also, the compilation has something else going on in it. There's something else going on. I don't remember what. Let's see. That's the only movies I want to talk about. Oh, yeah, there's a movie for Thunderbolt Fantasy. Hey, there's an... What? There's a new OVA for Aldnoah Zero Season 2. Many years later for the Blu-ray box set. They're moving over to OVA. That's fun. Blue Box is continuing. That's Blue Box is happening. More episodes of that. Kaiju number 8. There's this happens. This is part of the movie, the compilation movie. There's an OVA of like a bonus thing for Kaiju number 8, which I love as a series. So, I might check that out. Little Pikachu thing looks fun. This is a one episode queer story. This is unfortunately not a lot of queer stuff this season, but we do have this, which is a weird show where guys like act like a cat, and that's the beginning of a romance. Sakamoto Days is an ongoing, but it is airing on. It'll air in a week in advance on Netflix Japan before it airs on television Japan. This manga is pretty fucking awesome. I'm excited for the anime adaptation. One episode, you know what you're getting. We are now 8 minutes until the new year. There is an extra part for Skate the Infinity because there's more Skate the Infinity coming. So this is an OVA that bridges the gap between the first season and the second season of Skate the Infinity. That's SK8, Infinity. So extra part is coming out. I think that Skate the Infinity is fucking bonkers in a good way. I've come to enjoy it a lot. It's so wild. Idolmaster Shiny Color second season. And that's it. I am now going to do an outro for this local recording. This has been Pat Bear's Anime Club. There will be more Pat Bear's Anime Club. In 2 weeks, I'll talk about all of the isekai that are out and give you my thoughts on them because I'll have watched at least a couple episodes of those. Thank you so much. In the comments below on this YouTube video, please let me know what you're excited about or what some of your favorite shows were the fall season. This has been a almost 2 hours and 37-minute video, so I need to wrap this up. This is the longest Pat Bear's Anime Club has ever been. Thanks for watching.